Good afternoon and welcome to Body Slam Your Ears. I am Steve Fall, of course, with my co-host Issa. Issa, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, but a little thing is bothering me. The WWE keeps announcing when these big time matches are going to air. Night one, they've already announced Ronda versus Charlotte, and night two, they announced Brock versus Roman. Now, is that a guarantee those two matches will be the main events on those individual nights? But because they hadn't said main event, they just said these are going to be
Yeah,
on these nights.
yeah. I don't know if they'll main event or not. But I like the idea of knowing what match is on what night. I mean, I would assume that people traveling will probably attend both nights. But if you're a local and you just want to go to one night, because I'm sorry, stadium costs a lot of money to do 2 nights in a row, from parking to the eating, Uber rides, however it is that you get there. You might just have a preference of what night you want to attend. So I think it's smart for them to just say what matches are on one night.
Yeah, yeah, I agreed. But at the same time, why not say it's the main event? I obviously Brock and Roman is the main event. Obviously, what can top that on night two? Night one,
Oh
you're not going
yeah,
to put
but
two
I
women
think night
on night
one,
one. You're not going to put both women's championship matches on the same day.
right? But I would assume that it might come down to that. I mean, maybe they're trying to fill the air as far as crowd reactions to these women's matches and what match has more interest going. You know what I mean? When it comes to that, I would assume that they're not putting both titles on the same night, like you said. And I don't think there's anything wrong with also opening a show. I think you can have Bianca and Becky open night two if you're gonna have Ronda and Charlotte main event night one. But at the same time, I think it's very smart of them to not announce so, because if there's a momentum switch and something happens to where everybody's invested into this Becky Bianca match, I can see them switching directions.
Yeah, just like how a few years ago when they didn't tell you the women were going to main event, but everyone online was like, "If you do not do this, we will be angry." So finally, I think they buckled and realized, "Oh, we have to do this."
Right, and we have 2 nights now. My train of thought is, if this is how it's going to go and women get one night, give it to the match that people really want to see, not the match that you guys think is your marquee match. Because I don't know that there's that much interest as of now in Ronda and Charlotte, as opposed
I
to
don't.
Becky and Bianca. I already feel more invested
Yes,
into.
agreed. And I think it's because obviously we talked about before. They believe Ronda is a name, a household name. But I'll be honest, this is not Ronda Rousey. What we remember, this is not UFC or Fast and Furious Ronda Rousey. This is, hey, I've been away for a while, I had a baby, and now I'm back. But like, no one's going, oh, I can't wait to see Ronda back in UFC or things like that.
Agreed, agreed. And Rhonda is finding her stride back, I think. I mean, she's still breastfeeding, for Christ's sake. I feel very 50-50 when it comes to Rhonda, because, she's obviously one of my favorites. I've never been quiet about how much I love Ronda Rousey,
Of course,
but she is not the same Rhonda. When we saw her in the Rumble, I was the first one to say she's gassing out. She wasn't even out there that long. So I get it. You just gave birth. I think it's so impressive that she's back in such a short period of time. But at the same time, I'll be the first one to tell you, yeah, she's still not 100% there. We do have 6 weeks until WrestleMania, and Ronda is a Olympic athlete, so I'm sure she'll find her way back. But no, you're absolutely right. This is not the Ronda Rousey that most of us are used to seeing.
no, Logan Paul has a bigger household name than Ronda Rousey right now. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's true. It's true. Also, sad news in the world of wrestling. Cesaro, it's been reported that he's leaving the
Oof.
WWE. And I can see why he wants to leave because he's
Mm-hmm.
been there for so long. And, he obviously sees that as a ceiling he's never going to get past. So go somewhere else. I don't know where New Japan, Impact, AEW, there's a million places to go right now that would appreciate him and make him a big star. So where do you think he ends up?
I don't know. I mean, I don't. I'm very sad to see him go, but not surprised. You know what I mean? Like, as a fan, I'm sad because I did enjoy. I popped for the swing. I popped for Cesaro. I love the bar. Me personally, I wanted to see them reunite. But I'm not shocked by this decision, and I've been reading and watching videos and seeing back and forth. I think this was more of a creative standpoint than a money standpoint. So I will tell you, everybody saying AEW, but AEW it's so bloated. And I get it. Tony Khan can sign whoever he wants, right? But I do get afraid of the roster becoming bloated. Cesaro's going to end up at the same place he is with WWE. So I just hope that he's smart with these contract negotiations. So if he goes to Tony Khan, Impact, I don't see him going to New Japan. I don't know. The guy speaks like 20 languages, so he can probably go anywhere he wants. But I just hope that he's very smart and say, hey, the reason why I didn't sign with WWE is because I wanted a title run or this or that. And he's able to get that with his next contract. Or maybe him and WWE reconcile. You never know. But I think that Cesaro, I don't know. I think he deserves more. I think he's a very skilled in-ring talent. I just don't know that he has the charisma. He has the fan support, but I don't know if you put him in the mic. You know what I mean? I don't know how that would look like.
Yep. No, I 100% agree on that. Of years and years and years of great matches can only get you so far in the WWE, that you need to be able to talk. If you can't talk in the WWE, you are not going to be a world champion or in the main event picture. It's just clear as day. And some people like I'll mention his name, Chris Benoit. He was world champion, but guess what? He could wrestle, but he couldn't talk. And that's why his reign probably only lasted for so long. But people like a Randy Orton, who was super young when he became world champion, it's because he could talk at such a young age.
Yeah, I agree. At the same time, I think that for the international factor, losing Cesaro is a big deal for WWE, because I know that Cesaro is a media-friendly person that they will send to a lot of places because of the reason I gave you earlier, because he speaks like 10 languages and this and that. So I do think that's somebody that you want on the face of your company. You also have to keep in mind, Cesaro has a very close friendship with Tyler Breeze, with Adam Cole. They had that whole thing going on up, down, down, and now, the Uno play. I used to love that series, and now that it's like, I feel like King Woods is all by himself now. All of his friends left him, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was other influences in this decision from people that have left and feel like they're doing better.
And if you remember last year, where the rumor was he was going to leave, then he got a new contract, and suddenly he was fighting Seth Rollins, and suddenly he was fighting Roman Reigns. And I think we've seen this before with other people, where everyone's about to leave, Nakamura for one, and then you give them the Intercontinental title. Hey, the Good Brothers are going to leave. Hey, we're going to give you the World Cup of the greatest tag team of all time, or whatever. There's a pattern of, hey, I want to leave. Okay, well, we'll give you this amazing opportunity. Right now, hey, Kevin Owens was going to leave. And then suddenly he's involved. It seems like he's on the path to see Boston. Hey,
we even saw a good program. Think about it. Cesaro had supposedly he resigned only for a year. That's why it's up. But within that year, he got that feud with Seth Rollins, and he did get a feud with Roman Reigns. He didn't. He got that win at WrestleMania over Seth Rollins. So I don't think he was treated poorly in within the year, but I'm just saying he comes off as he'll never win the big one. Not to quote Jericho and Eddie Kingston promo from last Wednesday night, but I really feel that way about Cesaro. We discussed that recently with Liv Morgan, where she's already starting to come off as the person that has the fan support. We love her and we know she can go, but she never wins the big one. And that's how I felt about Cesaro. But match-wise, I think this last year was the best of his career. He got a one-on-one at WrestleMania against Seth Rollins, and he got to feud for a main title in the main event.
Also, I think the stop, go. Hey, you speak 5 languages. You're U.S. champion. Hey, you have Oksana. Hey, you're now We the People. Hey, you're a Paul Heyman guy. Oh, no, now you're back to being We the People. Hey, you're the King of Swing. Oh, no, you're this. You're that.
Now you're in the bar. And which I know I talk about it a lot, but I thought the bar, I loved him and Sheamus were such a good combination. And I know that they had to split them up because I believe it was Sheamus who got injured. I never understood why they didn't put them back together, because neither one of them turned on each other.
Yeah, I was surprised they didn't put them back together. Cesaro teaming up with Ricochet, then teaming up with Mansoor, to me, it was just up and down.
And they're a pair that experience that up and down thing when your tag team division is so lackluster right now. So why not unify a tag team that had an excellent run and you're not doing anything with either one of these guys? Why not,
Yep. My favorite Cesaro match is him versus John Cena in the U.S. Open Challenge on an episode of Raw.
Oh, my God. So good. So good.
So good.
Yes.
And John Cena's always praised him.
Yeah, and he actually had a match. I know a lot of people were talking about this last run, which I thought was incredible with Roman Reigns. But I don't know if you remember when Seth Rollins got injured and they did that tournament for the WWE Championship. He faced Roman Reigns back then. I think this was in 2015, and that match was incredible.
Yeah, that was also so strange, that tournament. We'll continue on in a second, but Tyler
Yeah.
Breeze was making his debut like that week in the WWE, and then he got thrown into a world title tournament. Everyone's like, well, that's over for him
Yeah.
because he has to lose. Obviously,
Yeah. Yeah,
he
and then
can't
it was
win.
it was so funny. It came down to Roman and Dean and the storyline that they told in the ring, and Roman winning his first championship. It seemed like such a beautiful moment, confetti falling, and then Sheamus walks out with the briefcase and ruins
Yeah.
everything.
Yep. Not fun. Not fun for anybody. But we'll have to see how that goes. But good news all around. Finally, instead of the rumors, Corey Graves has finally confirmed with TMZ that he is medically
Good for
cleared
him.
to compete. He said he had a bit of an itch. He wanted to see if it was even possible to go back in the ring. And he said he's not going back in like tomorrow, but he wanted to know
Hmm.
if he actually could go back in the ring. And we've talked about this before. We've seen it with Lita and Edge, Daniel Bryan, Shawn Michaels, people we thought we would
Hmm.
never see wrestle ever again come back because they've healed up.
Yeah, I absolutely love the fact that modern medicine has come so far that some people that back in the day were told, "Yeah, you're done," are now able to come back. Corey Graves is still very young. I'm not familiar with his career as a wrestler, if I'm gonna be honest with you, because he was so early into the NXT days. Would I
Mm-hmm.
be curious to see him? Yes, but I would assume that because he's in the industry, he will want to be in ring shape, and I'm not sure that he's there yet. So I would like for him to take his time, because look at how Lita performed this past weekend at Elimination Chamber. I would assume that Corey Graves wants to come back, wants to look good, and he's gonna make sure that that happens. You have to give him the right opponent, the right storyline. I mean, there's a lot that will go into this, but I'm excited for him that he will say, well, he talked about, I think it was Edge who inspired him. I love seeing these wrestlers. I think Edge said Daniel Bryan inspired him. So I just love seeing these wrestlers see that it's possible and get their stride back.
Me too. Me too. And continuing on with more fun news here. Tony Khan, he
God.
keeps talking about a huge announcement, a huge announcement. Even on Twitter recently, he went on with Tony Schiavone really quick to be like, guess what? I have a huge announcement, but the legal department will not allow me to talk about it yet because we have to get all the dots and everything taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
So he's
Mm-hmm.
teasing that on the March 2nd episode of AEW Dynamite, there'll be a huge announcement. And I know how you absolutely are sick and tired of these huge
Am
announcements and
I
these
alone?
forbidden
Am I
doors.
alone, Steve? Am I
No,
alone with this? Okay,
no, you're
thank you.
not. No, you're not. There's a pattern here. There's a
Yeah.
pattern. It's like wearing sexy lingerie and you're thinking, I'm gonna get to see what's underneath that. And every time you're about to go, check underneath, they're like, not just yet. Oh, let me go check. Oh, not just yet. It keeps happening over and over and over again. But yes, he says maybe, not confirmed, maybe. So you got to tune in to hear the maybe announcement. And what could be this announcement that the legal department won't let him talk about yet?
Well, a lot of people were. I was reading that they're thinking he bought ROH because of you have so many people like getting inducted into the Hall of Fame that are with AEW now. I know they have
Wow.
a very intense library that everybody will want. I would also I would also assume, I don't know, they just announced this amazing week that they're gonna do in Vegas. It's a 3 show, but they
Yeah.
didn't get the big arena. I would assume if they're gonna do a big arena stadium show, I guess I should call it, they will do it in Jacksonville because they kind of own that football stadium there. I was thinking that's gonna be it. Like maybe for All Out, it's going to be a stadium size show, and they're gonna test the waters and see if they can sell out a show that accommodates more than 15,000 people.
Wow. I'm really hoping it's the hey, we've joined a streaming platform. You can watch our back
Oh, I would
catalog,
love
all of our
that. I would
I want to
love
watch
that.
all the
Yeah,
past pay-per-views. I want to watch
me
all the
too.
dynamites. I want to sit down and like
But if that's the case, then
enjoy
I,
it.
I hope I hope that comes with the ROH deal as well. Maybe both things together, just because I would love to go back and watch All In and just compare it to where they're at now. Because I remember All In. I even reviewed it on my channel. It felt like such a change in the ties of wrestling, and it felt like
Mhm.
such a big deal. But take a look at the last All Out with Daniel Bryan debuting, Adam Cole, CM Punk's first match. Like, look at how far this company has come in 2 years. Like, to me, that's mind blowing. I would love to have a watch at all these pay per views and just watch it grow. You know what I mean?
Of course, because I didn't watch all the pay per views. I've watched most, but not
Yeah.
all. Maybe 40% of them, maybe. So
Yeah,
I
the
would
ones
like to go
I don't
back
think
and
I
check them
watched
out.
any of their. I don't think I watched any of their first year's pay per views outside of like the you always see the clips here or there or the results. You know what I mean? But
Of course.
I can't recall. And then I started even attending them. So I went to All Out this year. I did Arthur Ashe. I did Full Gear. I'm about to do Revolution. So I have a blast attending AEW shows. I will tell you why. If you guys are watching, listening, AEW live is a blast, in my opinion, especially the pay per views. The energy is different. And I'll be honest with you, I know a lot of people are critical of how long they go. When you're there, it doesn't feel like it went that long.
I haven't. Anytime I go to wrestling live, I have a good time. So maybe I've gone to AEW too, and it's still fun. But like I've always enjoyed attending wrestling. If it's in a high
It's so
school
different.
or
Yeah.
80,000 people, like it's always fun to experience.
Yeah, and it's such a different experience because, well, sometimes these arenas just suck and your phone internet don't work like all
Oh
out.
yeah.
But you're not, when you're sitting at home, it's so easy to get distracted, to scroll and this and that. But when you're there live, you want to take it in, and I feel like you're just completely taking the show different than when you watch it at home.
Of course. Well, because you paid a lot of money to be there. You want to enjoy
Yeah,
it
but even like
versus sitting in your
I
house.
have I have certain shows that I have to watch, right? Like NXT or Rampage or SmackDown because I go on Wrestling Inc. after to talk about it. So I like to watch them very detailed. Sometimes I take notes. So I try to stay away from distractions when I do watch those shows.
Mm-hmm.
But even paying attention is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't feel the same. It's never the same experience. I've been there. I remember enjoying certain segments or certain things that I watch live. And then when I get home and start scrolling, everybody online hated it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That was awesome. It's
Oh
such a
man, yeah.
different experience.
Yes, I have seen some comments on your videos on YouTube, and people are not kind to you. But let's
Oh, no,
let's
that's
I
only
like
my
the
women's Royal Rumble video. People were very
yes,
upset that I
I am
didn't pop for the
talking
legend.
about that one. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm talking about that one. I would love Tony Khan to purchase Ring of Honor and make it a developmental place for talent to be hired, go learn, and then come up to Dynamite, because you can't keep going to WWE and taking off their scraps. I guess you can, but then what's left? What, the Acclaimed are going to be pissed off and leave AEW for WWE, and then suddenly you have the Dark Order leaving the AEW for WWE because
Yeah.
you're bringing in all these people from the WWE that are name recognized. Of course, I would too. I would buy a name brand before I bought the $5 store brand
Right.
of soda versus I would buy Coca-Cola. You know?
Right. No, I agree, but I do think that there's hasn't been anything negative said about when WWE built that performance center and started really training the wrestlers. And even when they get injured and they're coming back, where do they have somewhere to go and do their reps and get back in shape?
Yep.
It's not just about developing. It's about helping your current talent. It's about, you have somebody like a Jade who's supposedly training. Like, wouldn't it be more beneficial if you have a place where she can go? Because if you really think about it, there are still a lot of spots that are not that are not performed perfectly, and because they're not on the road, they're not doing
What?
house shows. I would assume that a performance center, not a performance center exactly, but a developmental brand or some kind of you know place for them to go and do the rest or yeah, I agree with you. So I'm trying to say I think
Yeah.
WWE has shown having a performance center developmental brand has really been beneficial for them.
Of course. Who's their main champion? Roman Reigns. Where did he come from? That developmental
Hmm.
territory. Like
Yeah.
Seth Rollins, John
And
Moxley.
WWE has always had it. It's just that now it's just the Performance Center NXT. But if you look at Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Randy Orton, where did they come? OVW, which was their old developmental territory. They always have
Yep.
made sure that they get their guys ready before they bring them up.
Even go back before that, they had a ring in a warehouse connected
Yeah.
to WWE HQ. Who trained there?
Yep.
Edge, Christian, The Rock, Kurt Angle. Like
Mm-hmm.
the list goes on and on. So they've been doing it for years. But I think AEW needs, if they're going to stick around and be a company like they are right now, they need to start investing more in themselves, not just going out and buying talent, investing in promo classes, investing in even saving your money. using your money wisely. So there's a lot that can be generated there. So hopefully these crazy rumors that we're coming up with right now are even close to the one he comes up with maybe
it's gonna be something
on
stupid.
March 2nd.
It's gonna be something stupid. It's gonna be something stupid.
He'd be like, we have AEW sneakers.
Which it's gonna, oh no way. No, I don't know where flat shoes. Come on.
Oh, I know.
Actually, I do own the Bad Bunny sneakers. 2 of them in 2 different.
I was gonna say, aren't you actually like 3 feet tall?
No.
Because your high heels make you actually the real height you are. People think you are. I think that's what's going on here.
No, that's the problem. You know what? For your typical Puerto Rican woman, I'm taller than what most Puerto Rican women are. So the heels just make me like a giant. That's what I always get when people meet me. They're like, "You're so much taller than I thought you were gonna be." I'm like, "Are you stereotyping me?"
Yes, they think you're a giant. That's what they're doing. Well, there you go, folks. Another episode of Body Slam Your Ears right here on the NYC Demon Diva YouTube channel. I've been Seafall. She's been Issa. Thank you so much for listening. Hopefully, Tony Khan comes up with a good announcement because I know I have my brain is working 1,000 miles an hour, hoping something awesome happens. But hey, something awesome just happened. You listen to this show. So thanks for listening. We appreciate it. I've been Seafall. We end the show the same way we do every time we have it. What do we say to the good people?
Adios.
Adios.